According to Sports Pro, Caitlin Clark is the fourth most marketable athlete in the world. Yeah, not just female athlete, not just in the United States, but in the entire world.
Did you notice that Caitlin Clark just broke the endorsement game instead of just signing a contract? While Clark is making significant strides, this is where things start to get truly fascinating. His new $13 billion partnership is not only significant, it's transformational. You won't believe how some WNBA players are responding to this arrangement that could change the game. Stay tuned as we delve into the drama, which includes A.A. Wilson's response that is appending women's basketball.
How? In what way? What does she sell out tens of thousands of Wilson basketballs in 40 minutes? I mean, what has A'ja Wilson done to say that she is worth every penny and then some?
Wilson and Hy-Vee have partnered to release Caitlin Clark basketballs in vivid purple and yellow. The Dreamer and Tribute editions will be arriving in time for the holidays, making them the ideal present for fans. This innovative partnership, along with eye-catching advertisements, has everyone talking.
Here, they just had this go, and this is the Hy-Vee Instagram account. Again, Wilson, Caitlin Clark, really smart, very cool video, lots of smiling faces.
Wilson's ability to spot talent is demonstrated by this $13 billion partnership, while Nike made a mistake. Wilson made a daring, game-changing decision when he recognized Caitlin Clark's potential early on. Let's go back to the moment when Wilson signed Clark. It was a brilliant move.
Caitlin Clark just did something nobody has done since Michael Jordan. Wilson Sporting Goods signed the WNBA star to a multi-year deal. She's the first female athlete to have her own collection with Wilson, and it will be built similar to Jordan's collection in the 1980s that included those signature basketballs.
Wilson's acquisition of Caitlin Clark is a game changer. They took a huge risk by doing something they had only ever done once, with Michael Jordan himself. As soon as the agreement was announced, social media went crazy and everyone was talking about it. Women's sports had recently been transformed by Wilson.
Only athlete to have a signature basketball with Wilson other than Michael freaking Jordan. Wilson's head of global partnership said, "We haven't done a deal of this magnitude since we did one with Michael Jordan 30 to 40 years ago."
After that, Clark's first basketball was released. What happened next was that it sold out in a matter of minutes, meaning that tens of thousands of basketballs were gone in an instant. This is historic. Now, Caitlin Clark is just the second athlete in history to own a Wilson signature basketball, joining the ranks of.
I don't know that I can name an athlete in recent memory that is sold at this level. And there's the key, folks. Caitlin Clark moves products. Caitlin Clark moves merchandise. And here's what I was talking about too. They mentioned it here. Or in September, Wilson dropped the first Clark-inspired basketball. It sold out in under 40 minutes. Tens of thousands of basketballs snapped up almost instantly.
Wilson isn't stopping there, though. They have great plans for Clark to see something in her that they haven't seen before. Her star power, her brilliance on the court, and her capacity to engage with fans and make sales. Wilson is placing a large wager on Clark, and thus far, it is paying out well.
And shout out to Wilson. I think we all really, really appreciate what Wilson has done. They seem to be the only business, the only entity that has taken Caitlin Clark at face value for what and who she is and the opportunities that can bring. Fully, completely embraced her, been great with their marketing. Product drops, I mean, I don't even know how many different basketballs now, but they've made multiple product drops with, limited quantity, I guess you could say. They're sold out right away. They keep doing more and more.
What is the significance of this seismic shift for women's sports? Companies' perceptions of female athletes, their marketing strategies to sports fans, and their appreciation of women's sports in general are all changing. In addition to altering the game on the court, Clark is also altering it in boardrooms and marketing conferences across the sports sector.
Apparently all of her basketballs or collabs that she's done
Yeah.
are sold out pretty quickly.
This Wilson transaction is only the first step. Wilson and Clark are about to push things to the next level, and their influence on women's sports will be profoundly impactful. Are you prepared to watch what occurs next? With a $13 billion alliance, Caitlin Clark recently made a significant move, but here's the twist. Instead of signing a personal contract, she got Wilson and Hai, the Midwest supermarket giant, together to upend women's sports.
As you can see here, Caitlin Clark lands $13 billion brand collab as WNBA stars bond with Wilson grows deeper. And that's the cool part, man. Shout out to Wilson.
You might be thinking of a chain of supermarkets, but Hay isn't your typical business. They're a retail powerhouse that is focusing all of their effort on Caitlin Clark, and they're not merely putting her name on a cereal box. Instead, they're developing something completely original and fascinating.
This is a collaboration with supermarket chain Hy-Vee. They rake in more than $13 billion annually. Huge company, just in time for the holidays.
This is when the exciting part begins. Hai is releasing unique limited edition basketballs, and guess who's back in the mix? These balls are being referred to as the Clark Dreams and Tribute Wilson basketballs since they resemble Clark. Off the court, Wilson and Hai are building a super team of sorts.
And what this is Hy-Vee has announced an exclusive, yeah, that's right, an exclusive drop of Caitlin Clark's Dreamer and Tribute Wilson basketballs. Very cool. Big deal. Good job, Wilson. You know, they probably went and put this together. I mean, maybe Hy-Vee contacted Caitlin Clark first, but you know, this is probably the type of thing
Wilson, this is the kind of thing, but why is it so significant? It concerns what it signifies for women's sports marketing going forward. This kind of collaboration is unprecedented, setting a new norm for how female athletes partner with major companies. Remember, they have been there for Caitlin Clark at every turn, demonstrating their dedication to her journey since the beginning. You may recall their donation to the Caitlin Clark Foundation during her time in Iowa.
And get this, Hy-Vee says it's making a donation to the Caitlin Clark Foundation in honor of her record. $35,690 will be donated. In Clark's basketball career, she's scored 3,569 points to beat the old record.
In addition to signing a contract, Clark is assisting in the creation of goods that share her narrative. Wilson claims that every ball symbolizes a different phase of Clark's journey, from her time at Iowa to her rise to fame in the WNBA. It makes sense because developing a brand is more important than marketing. She was ranked as the 4th most marketable athlete in the world by Sport Pro.
And then at number 4, Caitlin Clark, LeBron James at 3, Vinicius Jr., who is a Brazilian soccer star, and number 1 being Simone Biles. As you can see, Caitlin Clark is the only WNBA player in the top 10, and she's actually the only WNBA player in the top 20.
What does this mean for the future? Perhaps more businesses will start making bold moves like this, working together more creatively, investing more in women's sports, and who knows, maybe the next time a female athlete signs a contract, the numbers won't surprise us. Instead, we'll be anticipating them.
Strengthening the partnerships she's already built. From basketballs flying off shelves to multi-million-dollar endorsements, CC is at the forefront of athlete branding.
Wilson and Hy-Vee are supporting Clark, but what about Nike? You would think they would be all over this by now, but this is where things start to get interesting. It seems incredible that Nike signed Clark to a $28 million contract, but then there was no word from the sports giant, and fans were left wondering where the Clark shoes, the jerseys, and the big marketing campaign were.
And her WNBA season has come and gone. And with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials. We have not seen any ads. We have not seen any Caitlin Clark merchandise. And we for sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark signature shoes. It is mind-blowing.
Clark's popularity isn't exactly a secret. In the quick-paced world of sports marketing, every day that Nike fails to leverage Clark's star power is a day lost. Fans are willing to buy, but Nike isn't selling even though her jersey sales have increased by 500%.
Yeah, where is Caitlin Clark's shoe? Jersey sales skyrocketed by 500% this season. Where's the shoe, folks? Where is it?
Industry experts are scratching their heads too. They're saying Nike should be plastering Clark's face on billboards launching shoe lines, the works, but instead it's like they've put her on the bench.
Where's the shoe, folks? Where is it? Paige Becker recently landed her own signature shoe. Crappy shoe, but she got one. And Yeah, you're right. Vocal, of course. Why not? We should be vocal. Absolutely ridiculous.
According to a recent rumor, Nike wants to give A.A. Wilson's shoes priority over Caitlin Clark's, but that isn't feasible from a marketability standpoint. It's obvious that Caitlin Clark is ahead of A.A. Wilson.
Reports Nike wants to prioritize A'ja Wilson, and it fears the optics of giving a rookie a signature shoe before an already established star who just won league MVP for the third time. We have talked about this multiple times on my channel. Is A'ja Wilson currently the best player in the WNBA? Yes. Is Caitlin Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if A'ja Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlin Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time, that Caitlin Clark would outsell A'ja's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be the case.
Here's where things gets extremely wild. While Nike's sitting on their hands, other businesses are launching exclusive products while Wilson sells out basketballs in a matter of minutes. Like everyone else, Nike recognizes Clark's worth.
It's an absolute and utter embarrassment. Nike should be shut down simply out of shame for the way they have treated Caitlin Clark.
Clark is demonstrating that women's sports can generate significant revenue, but it appears that everyone is currently profiting from that fact except Nike. What's the problem? Is Nike making a massive mistake with the largest name in women's basketball, or do they know something we don't?
She had the craziest momentum that we have ever seen with any athlete in the history of ever. And the fact that Nike did not capitalize on that, the fact that they are the biggest athletic sportswear brand in the world, and we didn't hear a peep out of them the entire season, it truly makes me wonder, like, if I were Caitlin Clark's management, and again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I would be truly rethinking the deal that I signed up for.
Can you picture yourself in the boardroom of Nike right now? They have the sexiest basketball player, but they're not using her. It would be like owning a Ferrari and keeping it in the garage. But the story isn't finished yet, and in what appears to be a reaction to Caitlin Clark's sensational new deal, an envious A.A. Wilson revealed a 6-year contract extension with Nike, but the announcement hasn't gone ignored. Fans are assuming that it's motivated by jealousy, and many are wondering if this agreement can really compete with Clark's unrivaled market power.
A'ja Wilson, Nike, agreed a 6-year contract extension after third WNBA MVP, which was, of course, one of those participation entitlement MVPs. She was awarded the MVP before the season started because of the complaint campaign that she should have gotten it the year before instead of Breanna Stewart.
Social media is a hive of commentary. Wilson's deal is being referred to as a fake deal by certain fans. Despite the fact that some are supporting her, the WNBA community is divided on the significance of these partnerships in the evolving field of women's basketball.
And, a lot of the comments, pretend deal that Clutch Sports asked Nike to do because A'ja's fragile ego can't take the fact that Caitlin Clark and Beckers are actually liked and cares about A'ja Wilson. Of course, if anyone else got it, she'd cry, skin tan problem and privilege. She'll be crying that when CeCe outdoes her. She's a whiny crybaby.
Since Clark has been creating waves and selling out merchandise in a matter of minutes, everyone is curious as to whether other players can have the same impact. Wilson is a fantastic player, but the main concern is whether she can sell merchandise like Clark. These days, it's not only about how you play, it's about selling jerseys and attracting fans. L. Duncan added his thoughts.
But here we go. Look, L. Duncan weighed in. No one commented. Worth every penny. You don't know the penny. And then some. How? In what way? What does she sell out tens of thousands of Wilson basketballs in 40 minutes? I mean, what has A'ja Wilson done to say that she is worth every penny and then some?
Meanwhile, Clark's impact continues to increase. Her business is expanding, her fan base is rising rapidly, and she is turning into a brand, which is revolutionizing women's basketball.
In my year time of being here, this is the first thing we've sold, really, besides like Hawkeye. We sold out of like her "You Break It, You Own It" shirt in like just a few days' time.
You Break It, You Own It, and Clark number 22 have been popular for shops like the Black and Gold shop and right here in Rally House, and they expect anything Clark-related in Indiana Fever to be just as big.
What does this signify for the WNBA? Therefore, as players are reevaluating their value and teams are reconsidering their marketing plans. Fans are more involved than ever before, and the WNBA is entering a new era. Everything is changing quickly, and it's not just about what happens on the court anymore. We're seeing a sea change in women's sports, and whether you support Wilson, Clark, or somewhere in between, you can't deny that things will never be the same. Are you prepared for this?
This is amazing.
To the team store, where gear is flying off the shelves.
You can't make this stuff up anymore.
Indiana officially has Caitlin Clark fever.
Caitlin Clark is revolutionizing women's sports marketing and the game of basketball. It's amazing how quickly things are developing. It seems like the entire world is changing before our very eyes. Clark has a significant impact. She's changing how businesses perceive female athletes off the court. Recall those 500% spike in jersey sales. That's not just a figure. It indicates a significant change in the sector, and everyone is trying to keep up.
The WNBA has seen a surge in merchandise sales, and they are up in terms of merch 500% year on year. Supposedly jersey sales, from what I've read, are up 1,000%.
However, this goes beyond Clark. It's about the future of women's sports in general. Brands are entirely rethinking how they market female athletes and how they value women's sports. It's as if the industry as a whole is receiving a wake-up call. Clark's success has had enormous ripple effects, and women's sports are gathering momentum like never before. However, it's obvious that this is only the beginning. The game is changing quickly. Are you prepared for what's coming next? Women's sports are set to reach a whole new level.